Hi everyone, my name is Chris. Good afternoon. Today I'm presenting my thesis project. It's called Zhu It's a functional workwear brand for Chinese construction worker. So, thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
And the main inspiration of my project is mainly because of my family background. I grew up in an architect-related family in China, so I had a lot of chance to go into the construction site and see how workers their working and living conditions. So, for my project brief, I want to create a safer and functional workwear for them in their working condition and make them feel more proud and confident in their lives. So right now, I want to take all you guys back to China and experiencing a normal Chinese construction worker's life. So here's one very obvious issue is dressing adequately, which causes a lot of dangers and inconvenience for them. So already the construction industry is very dangerous, and in China the situation is even worse. So the injury and disease rate in China is twice of the other country. But we do have certain regulation. So in every construction site, we do have like this poster and shows how you should wear the personal protective equipment. But the fact is, like almost like 98% of the respondents said the workers are not wearing them at all. So in order to get a better understanding and deeper insight, I flew back to my hometown, Suzhou, and do some field research. So this is what I conduct. So these guys are not wearing the protective equipment at all. They are simply just like doing this and look to the other directions to avoid the walking hazard. And it's happening a lot. But they do use some kind of the protections like this. So, and you can see this guy, actually he's wearing this kind of mask, welding and cutting stuff. He thinks he's being protected, but the fact is not. So from the left side is the most challenged categories I found in the construction site. And on the right side is the occupational disease chart from China. So which is perfectly matched for each other. So the main part 3 disease here is pneumoconiosis, which is the black lung, and also the noise inducted hairy loss and other chemical poisoning. But these diseases are very bad because they are irreversible. So what is the reason behind this? So why don't workers not wearing the protective equipment? After several interviews I conduct, here are main two perspectives. The first one is these equipment are not comfortable and lack of supply and not available near the working task. And also because these workers, they having very low safety awareness. Without the supervision, they just don't want to wear it because they get used of these kind of working habits. And another issue I found is the inconvenience of two-carry method for them. This is what they use right now, like simple basket and very basic bag. And once again, the self-made bag. So this is an observation. Like this kind of basket and this surface is particularly very popular in the construction site. So they are using this, and they just simply put this bucket on the surface. But the thing is, it's potentially dangerous. So this guy told me he fell down once because he trying to reach the tool in a very awkward position, and then he fell down. So my conclusion is, due to the existing two-carry method, the Chinese construction workers are experiencing like low productivity and potentially dangerous working flow. So my hypothesis for both these dangers and inconvenience is, what if my brand could create a workwear and integrate the personal protective equipment and a better tool-carrying system? And then after that is my second keyword for my project, the social stigma. So when we look at this picture, we know he's a firefighter, and he looks like a hero, and he looks like highly trained and looks professional. So, but what we just did is actually a snap judgment. So we human beings do snap judge people by their appearance. So how do people think Chinese construction worker right now? They're unprofessional, lack of safety awareness, and low social status, and not organized. Due to this, they are being treated very unfairly. So this is a true story of humiliation. So this worker were not allowed to be sit on this empty spot because these people think he's just lowering than them. And this lady over there, she was even asked him to get out of her range. So it's happening a lot in China. Like in this picture, you can see they don't even dare to sit on an empty spot because they do think they are lower than others, which create a very negative psychological circulation, which is start from here, dressing adequately, and cause a lot of negative industry image. These people are being looked down upon by others. So they think they are lower than others, and they don't even care about their appearance more. And it's like endless circulation. And I want to break this. So my branding hypothesis, what if I create a unique Chinese workwear branding culture to promote workers' personal appearance and industry identity? Here is social stigma and make workers more proud. Then I start to do some workwear culture study, like all over the world, but particularly this image attracted me the most. So it is Japanese workwear. Like in this picture, you can see they kind of like a construction gang, and they kind of have some proudness deeply inside. So I decided to do more research about that. Then I found out 4 main components behind the workwear culture. First one is history. So what we see here is called Toby style. It's actually a very traditional look because of these workers, they need to work in a high altitude. So these tents are designed to keep the balance and the air circulation. And also they have this bushy doll as their spray guide, like this ninja look as their costume inspiration. Also, they have magazines, so they have the self-awareness. Then I think I could take these components out for my own brand. So I did some research for Chinese construction site, and I found out it's very interesting. So they are writing down very imaginative words as their self-identification, like I as a king, like general, and this means the sun, moon, and star. So, which is kind of related to traditional Chinese culture. Then I start to do my branding design. So I decided to dig deeper in Chinese traditional culture. Then I found Lu Ban. He's my main inspiration for my brand. So he's a god of construction, and I found this spirit of craftsman is very popular in China right now, and also the Asian warrior image. And this, so this they don't have the self-awareness. So I want to create it for them. So I want to make it for China. So this is my brand slogan. And for my logo, I inspired by Lu Ban lock. So then I decided to integrate with the Z shape to give a look, kind of like a wood joint feeling of my logo.
What does the name mean?
Zhu Yi. Zhu Yi.
What does it mean?
The first Zhu, it means build as construct. Yi means apparel.
Okay.
Yeah. So after I identified my branding components, here comes to my product requirements. So aesthetically, it needs to be safe and visible, and also have some Chinese cultural elements. And functionally, it needs to be durable and protective, and also affordable. So here's some my ideation sketch. Start from some graphic exploration and some detailed exploration, different features. And of course, the hood is like the main part for my garments. And then I did the first version of mock-up and test. After this, he told me the hood part should be separate because not all the workers are wearing the goggle and mask at the same time. So it should be separate. Based on that, I did version 2 mock-up and some detailed sketch. So this is my second mock-up with cabinet fabric. Test again. So he told me the adjustability of the hood is not enough, and also the fitting of the pants is too tight, so because they need to stretch a lot in order to climb. After all these feedbacks I gathered, I start to do some final design. So this is my inspiration board. I want to take this kind of Asian Chinese warriors silhouette and get it into my branding design. So here is some graphic exploration I did, and some cutting and combination. And I also did a 3D modeling study in order to get better understand of the pattern and the color and the dimensions. And this is the version 3 mockup and test. So they're pretty satisfied about the outcome, but the only thing is they don't like the material. We can see here it's too flashy, and they don't think it's durable enough. So then after that, I decided to use this nylon as my final prototype. The tool carry system. So these two type of tools are what they carry in the basket. The hand tools and the small components. And also I did the workflow analysis. So usually they take out the tool basket with the tools and walk to the working site and bounce back around here. But what if they forgot some tools? It is very inconvenient for them. So he need to ask somebody to give him the tool, or he need to get down, pick it by himself. So I decided to do some ideation about the bag. The first version is inspired by the very initial idea of the leather surface. Then I did the sketch model, and it turns out not good because once you open this, it can't hold the weight of the tool, and also it's not enough space for the tools. So I decided to make a simpler way. So my main focus here is I want to create a modular tool pouch and also a shoulder bag. So mock-ups and prototype, and this is my final collection. So I have a built-in mask and eye protection, replaceable internal mask, and all of these like built-in protections, and some magnetic attachment. 2 carrying stripe, built-in shoulder protection, detachable knee pad. It could transfer to a pillow too, and have some hidden internal pocket. And that's how you use the bag. These are some detailed pullouts. And I did some exploding view to explain it better. And colorway story. So I found out these 5 most common construction workers in China, which is also could be related to 5 types of elements in Chinese culture, which is metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. So based on that, I did my colorway variation. And also, this is my branding illustration. So I want them looks like a modern time Luban, like a hero. And this is my final video. Construction worker feel like they're like a hero, like Luban. And thank you. Yeah, any questions?
Well, we don't need to worry about validation on this one.
Did you video that, or did you hire a professional?
I had my friend here who did this.
Well done.
It's really fabulous. I'm really impressed with the level of detail. I love the knee pad pillow idea and the amount of features. My biggest question is this affordable for these workers? Is it anywhere in the realm of affordability?
Yes, I know this coming.
Let's see. And I mean, because do you wear the same one every day? Can they only afford one?
Yes, I think it's a very good question, and this is a main consideration of this. So, after because I built my prototype in Chinese like apparel factory. So they said if I can have a large quantity, so I can this is my cost and price. So for the jacket, it's going to be like $16, and the pants is 35, and the bag is 40. So what I was doing the final video shoot, like the workers were actually asking me about the price. So I think it's a fair price for them. Like it's okay. So
I would love to see what $60, how that equates to how much money they make in a month.
Oh,
so that you,
yeah.
because I don't understand exactly
it look like some income conditions. They actually they earn like around top no, 1300 each every month. So
Okay.
it's not bad for them. But
1,300 RMB or dollar?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah, it's yeah.
So, I mean, okay, I have a question. Why did you decide to keep the mask part attached to the jacket? So they would have just one jacket and maybe multiple pants, or it seems like you might be able
this
to.
part?
Yeah.
This is like a collar, and so it's like just quick access.
So that it's
yeah. And this part is replaceable. So
Mhm.
after a while out, you could replace it. And the hood is detachable too. So if you don't need the goggle, you can just.
It's the yeah, that I got.
Yeah.
I think it's really fantastic.
Yeah, but I agree. Like some of the features could cost more money, and if I have a basic version for them, I think it's probably gonna be better.
My other concern is the heat. You know, some of the areas might be cold, but
Yes.
some of the areas might be very humid and hot.
Yes.
Would you? I guess it seems like that fabric that they felt was too flashy would be a little more breathable.
Yes.
But did you come up against that?
It's depend because China is
It's
a
a
very
huge
area. So
Right.
I think if it could become a real business opportunity, like I could by using different materials to achieve that.
It really looks great. I mean, I think if you look at, fashion designers that have addressed this issue or monumental, I think you've done really well. It stands
Thanks.
up. And I come from, family of construction workers where people have died early because they haven't used the mask or it hasn't been provided. So I love the idea that it looks cool. It looks easy to use and wearable. It just looks expensive. That's why I'm surprised if it's affordable for them. And then the bag, I think you could sell that everywhere.
Yeah, if you guys are interested, you can ask about that. It's actually a functional model.
I mean, how many of these people would also, you might want to, it seems like it would be easy to put on a scooter or a bicycle, how many people are using other kinds of transportation? It's really nice. And this part comes off to go onto the.
You do this, and I can do the demonstration.
Yeah, you should.
Okay. So it's like this.
It's great.
Yeah, it's like here. Yeah, and have a pad, support pad here for your waist and also for the shoulder.
Nice.
Yeah. If you want.
We need those in school too.
Yeah.
Seriously. Show us the earplugs. Show us the earplugs. Just one of my favorite parts. Show us the earplugs.
Earplugs.
Earplugs. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this. You can replace them after it wears out. So it's just a simple loop.
Yeah. That right there is patentable. Just that earplug holder in the back of a jacket with PPE, even in the US, that right there is patentable.
Oh, that one.
No. The
Oh,
earplug's
oh,
how
oh.
it's attached, because in most like construction situations, guys will wrap them around their neck and they'll fall off, and who cares, right?
Yes.
Now the American mentality isn't as lacking in safety and like personal, like, you know, I don't want to get hurt, right? So you get a little bit better situation, but I know hearing loss is probably a lot higher in America than it is like numbers wise versus, because it's one thing that I don't think at least the older generation of construction workers my dad was in was that didn't really understand it, you know.
Like low safety awareness.
Yeah, because hearing is something you lose over time slowly,
Yes,
so
yes.
you just kind of like don't notice that you hear worse.
Yes, as well as the other occupational disease. So they don't know it until it happens.
So I don't really have a lot to add, Chris. This is fantastic. One thought, though, is a very American way to maybe put a business model together for this, if there are concerns with costs, because I do think that's a lot of money,
Yeah.
right? And I think that your margins are closer than most students might present, but you know, we could probably find out a lot more. In the States, I would sell this to the developers.
Yes.
Like, I would look at a way to make this uniform a recruiting tool,
Yes.
like they do in college sports, right? So if you look at Oregon football, which is basically owned by Nike,
Yeah.
every year they come out with multiple new uniforms, and it becomes this huge recruiting tool for Oregon University.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there's a different way to approach this and not put it on the workers, or if you put it on the workers, maybe it's subsidized by the developers.
Yes, actually, we were just talking about this. Like in China, we don't have the like work union right now. If like I could, by using this brand, like I could like create this kind of like identity, like this union.
Yeah.
Probably
Like
could.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like also the developers too. And
Yeah.
the construction companies.
Sell it to the developers at a really, really modest wholesale price, and they resell it to their workers or not, right? And it becomes something that attracts the best workers, the most loyal workers,
Yes.
a company that you might want to work for. So it
Yes.
changes not just the stigma or the reputation of the worker, but the reputation of the company.
Yes, I think like back here, like these, like stuff could be changed for the companies, like
Yeah.
their logos and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I saw the patch on the right side. So.
Yeah.
And then the only other comment I would have is just spend more time talking about all of these little details. You know, when you're on a job interview, just, play the video and then spend a chunk of time on
Okay.
on all of these little subtle details.
Yeah, I was kind of worried about the time, so just quickly.
So
thanks.
Chris, very good presentation. It flowed really well. You stated the problem well. The research was just enough. Very compelling videos. Really showed a lot about their situation. Boy, those guys are going to go blind. So they've got good protection. And I believe you did all the material research on fabrics and materials. Are these materials, is it spark proof and fire
Yes.
fire retardant?
Like
fireproof?
here.
Yes, you-
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like fire resistant.
Okay. And is that the actual material you use, or is this just a mock-up material?
This one, this actual material. So this is like the workwear fabric they use a lot.
So if they wore this in the winter, do they have to wear like fleece and a jacket underneath to keep warm?
They do have like some certain sweaters, because they are not allowed to wear shorts either in the summer because the regulation. So they need to wear the long sleeves anyway.
But this looks light enough for summer. I know it gets really hot there, but
Yeah.
this looks light enough for summer use, I guess. But in the winter, it doesn't look warm enough, but I'm sure
Yes,
it probably bundle up.
Yes.
But then you can have a whole line, right? So you have that shirt that you're wearing, Chris,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
For other types of responsibilities and duties and,
Yes.
right? And climates.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yes.
anyway,
Go ahead, sorry.
sorry. Very good. And you find this out. I mean, I'm just concerned about those tool hooks. That looks like a hazard. If you get hooked on something and you're in trouble.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a good idea. Maybe that might change. Maybe if you'll break away.
Yes, this part
tear
is
away or something.
not like I think this part could be improved more, like me and Mike discussed before.
Yeah, I can't take credit for this one.
And then the bottom looks like they're tight, but it's just little details. Can you wear boots with those?
It opens, right? The Velcro.
It's a nice presentation, nice design, very iconic. I like it that it's different than the Japanese, the big flowing things, or American attires is jeans, right, and then a safety vest.
Yeah.
And then they wear whatever safety jacket they buy with their own money.
Right, it would go over well in Europe. They're really big on their
Right.
uniforms, and they could use an overhaul. I think the strength is really in the fact that you made the models and you tested it with real life users and got their feedback, and you reiterated it and you showed us that. That is the strength, and I love seeing all the iterations, the sketch models. That's how you come to a really strong product.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, set aside the videos, right? Because we can often get caught up in high production videos, but you have to deliver on this, right? You have to deliver on the industrial design,
Yes.
because that's what we're going to be evaluating you. But yeah, sketch models, the iterations, all the kind of details, really love it. And the branding,
Yeah.
Yeah.
very consistent, very striking. Something I wouldn't mind wearing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can give this to you.
One place where I think I would have liked to have heard a little bit more, other than I know you had a time constraint, other than the details of the actual ID and the process and all the little bits and how they work, which you can do, is it goes back to branding. And I know I've been kind of like pounding this into you.
Yes.
Right?
The branding
Like
stuff.
I said at one point, I think in design that it does not matter what you show up with on this side of the wall in this presentation. It matters how your story about Luban and having that uplifting feeling for the Chinese worker.
Mm-hmm.
Can you go into that a little bit more? Because I mean, I've got my version of what we've been talking about for a year and a half, and I know you probably have yours, and I'd like to hear yours.
I did push you on that, for sure, and I'm so glad, and I'm not saying that to take credit, but I'm so glad that you addressed it. There's so many students that we give feedback to, and then we kind of see the same issues.
But you went so deep into it, and I really think you found the parallels. And I commend you because you did it all yourself. I don't think Mark, I don't know what your interaction with Mark was, but I know I didn't hold your hand at all with the branding. I just kind of gave you a direction. And that was it was impressive, to be honest with you.
So, like it's
Superhero. Remember we talked about Ben Davis, Carhartt, all the tribalism behind it?
Yes. So this is kind of like a figure, like my branding figure. So I want to create this modern time movement because like Ben Davis and Carhartt, they are not buying this because of their functionality right now, they're like iconics, like a culture stuff. So we know when we purchase a workwear, it's like Ben Davis and Carhartt. So in China, we don't have this right now. So I want to establish this kind of iconic branding stuff.
It's kind of, there's like a work heritage.
Yeah,
We call
yeah.
our heritage too.
Yes.
Right, that is making me think, is this material sturdy enough? When I think of the heavy denim, the double denim, I mean, it's there for the reason to protect
Yes.
from the welding.
Yes.
What, if heavy denim gets torn, it just makes a small hole, it doesn't rip.
Yes.
Is this sturdy enough? It
Uh,
makes me wonder.
You mean the durability of this?
Mm-hmm.
Like this particular fabric is called 115D nylon. So
Mhm.
this is particularly made for workwear.
Okay.
So I think if please keep some measures.
Isn't there some sort of measurement based on tear or a skid or something?
Yes.
Abrasion or?
Like this is like 300D diamond ripstop. So like the thickness is not same. Yes.
You did. I remember when we were talking in China, and we were going through the fabric mills, and you're actually going and finding this fabric.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was hammering you for cost the whole time. I was like, don't pick the most expensive fabric because you've got to keep your costs down.
Yeah.
So if anybody ever comes up with that question about if this is too lightweight of a material, say that it's a cost-effective material for what you're going to pay for, because your market isn't going to sustain $60. This, by the way, this comes up in every conversation when you're doing workwear and work apparel, when you're selling it to people. Is it protective enough? Is it cheap? So like you can have both, but there's always a fine balance.
Yes.
Yeah, but definitely right that, and it's at your cost. It's at wholesale cost,
Wholesale
not
price.
retail price.
Yes.
But you would be selling it wholesale to the worker.
Because I think if I send this to the retail price, the price is going
It's
to be
good.
twice.
Yes.
So, but if I'm establish this my own brand, I
Mhm.
can directly sell it in a wholesale price.
Okay.
Sell it direct to
Direct
the
consumer,
developers.
Yeah,
or
yes.
to the developers.
Yeah.
Having
Direct to the
it
developers.
showing how much, who's gonna pay for it and how that relates to their income and their costs and how much they're willing to spend. And you could also put how many injuries, days off,
Yes,
sickness, like the cost benefits analysis.
Consequence.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
consequences, how much it can save. Then if you're selling to the developers, you'd sell them on, this is gonna save you this much
Yes.
money
Yes. Thanks.
in safety. It looks great.
Yeah. Don't do wholesale. That absolutely makes no sense.
Okay.
The more I think about it, sell it to the developers direct from the factory. You could be the manufacturer, make a big margin, and then they can sell it for dirt cheap, right? There's no import fees, there's no shipping, there's no, I think you could probably get that price down